Seminar number 4, Developing the Question. Carl Sagan memorably said, "Somewhere something incredible is waiting to be known." That something incredible that is eventually known typically starts with somebody asking a question. This flow diagram depicts the scientific method. The first step of every study requires us to ask a question, and after doing a background search, constructing a hypothesis, performing the experiment, and analyzing the results, we'll be one step closer to understanding truth in the universe. We'll return to this flow diagram several times during the course of this program. For now, we'll focus on that very first step, asking a question. The challenge in searching for a research question is not a shortage of uncertainties, it is the difficulty of finding an important one that can be transformed into a feasible and valid study plan. These questions can be inspired by the most unexpected sources: a memorable patient encounter, frustration at work, question from a trainee or a colleague, journal club, news media reports, and academic conferences all prompt several questions that deserve further study. I think meeting abstracts provide a wealth of information and opportunity. For instance, here are some abstracts from a recent academic conference. Number 366 examines the clinical experience of emergency physicians with CRRT as a strategy for enhanced elimination for poisoning. This is only a preliminary study that can easily prompt several different types of follow-up studies in order to get us even closer to truth on this topic. One key ingredient for developing a research question is scholarship that is acquired by a thorough and continuing review of the work of others, both published and unpublished. It is important to be comfortable performing a comprehensive search, especially of still unpublished material from meetings, to avoid being scooped by someone else. Become a master of already existing knowledge on a topic in order to become a meaningful contributor to that body of knowledge. I think a terrific and often neglected source of inspiration is the limitations section of a published paper. In my mind, this is often the best part of a paper, and for me, limitations means opportunities. For instance, in this paper, the authors acknowledge their study was limited by a small number of subjects, its retrospective design, and an uncontrolled procedure for data collection. This sets up 3 future studies, one with a larger sample size, one done prospectively, and one done with a more controlled manner of data collection. Now, of course, one can also plan a single future study to correct all 3 of those problems. Whatever strategy is chosen to enhance the body of knowledge on a topic, one should proceed depending on available time and resources. Remember, no one has ever published a perfect study. All have limitations. All can be done differently or better in some way to get us closer to truth in the universe. Another terrific source of inspiration is the NIH database on projects previously and currently funded. This used to be called CRISP, but is now called Report. The website's search engine is pretty sophisticated and pretty easy to navigate once you get used to it. Report identifies areas that are considered of high enough priority that merit government funding, and we all know how much the government does not like giving up its dollars unless considered a priority. One can even use this site to find and contact other investigators for help. Knowing what's been successfully funded is critically important for anyone interested in an eventual NIH proposal, so become familiar with this online resource. So be prepared. Take notes in any way that works best for you. An index card or post-it notes are always in my own lab coat. For some, an electronic notebook on one's smartphone works just as well. From David Woods' 1979 paper available in seminar number 2, he wrote, "Lucky breaks in research are more likely to present themselves to the prepared mind." So open your mind. Be skeptical. Be an opportunist. Pay attention to questions from juniors. Listen to experienced mentors, and start simple. When developing a question, the mnemonic FINER is helpful for organizing one's thoughts. Is my study question feasible? Feasibility is the step where many study proposals get stuck, so remember to start simple and ask whether answering your question is feasible, whether it's interesting, whether it's novel, whether it's ethical, and whether it is relevant. Too many junior investigators are too ambitious and think too big. It is almost impossible to change the world overnight with one big project. It is okay to think big, but then narrow, narrow, and narrow. A good study question can be written in a single sentence. If the study question cannot be articulated in a single sentence, then clarify your ideas, modify your plan, and rewrite. An investigator can then develop a series of related studies that incrementally affect change. And remember, a good, focused study question can actually become the title of a published manuscript. When do aminotransferases rise after acute acetaminophen overdose? Is coronary computed tomography angiography a resource-sparing strategy in the risk stratification and evaluation of acute chest pain? Are United States medical licensing exam step 1 and 2 scores valid measures for postgraduate medical residency selection decisions? And ultimately, after developing a study question, you need to ask yourself if the results of that completed study will answer the question, so what? How will that knowledge make a difference in the world, either locally or globally? How will the answer to that question get us closer to truth in the universe? The insight a study provides does not need to be big, but it should move us closer to truth or provide us with a stepping stone that sets up our next work that does get us closer to truth. If a study cannot pass the so what test, seriously reconsider that question before expending too much energy moving forward. In the next seminar, we'll make a case for case reports in the 21st century.